Kawhi Leonard, who opted out of his contract, it was always expected that Kawhi Leonard was going to re-sign. It was never expected that he was going to leave LA. He was never going to leave the Clippers. There were some rumors, but those weren't true. Kawhi is coming off of a torn ACL that will likely keep him out of most of, if not the entire 2021-22 season. And he just re-upped a 4-year contract worth $176 million to stay in LA. And the question that people have is, what does this move signify for Kawhi Leonard and the Clippers? To me, it signifies that Kawhi is in it for the long haul, because he knows that he's likely not going to play at all this year unless the Clippers are in a good position in the playoffs and he's healthy by then. He knows that he's likely not going to play. He knows that the team is honestly limited without him. As good as Paul George and them boys are, they're limited as far as how far they can go into the playoffs without him. It means that he's willing to give it this year and then really chase one in 22-23. And look, that gives the Clippers something that they have not had for a while, and that is time. It gives them 1 year to kind of reassess things, see what Paul George can do. It gives them time to assess the free agent market for 2022 and see who might be available, whose contract might be coming up, who might want to be traded out of their position, and who might they have the money to get. Because Kawhi could have taken a Supermax deal. I don't believe he did. But it's interesting to me that Kawhi, he opted out and he didn't take any meetings with any other teams. Because there were some teams that you could say that Kawhi probably should have met with. I think a reunion in Toronto would have been good for Kawhi. He already had the entire country behind him. I always will say it was a mistake for him to leave. It will always be a mistake, especially if he doesn't win a ring with the Clippers. If he doesn't win a ring with the Clippers, leaving Toronto will be the biggest mistake of Kawhi Leonard's career. Now, if he had decided that he wanted to stay in LA because he has the moral and the roots down there, he's from there, that's fine. I'm not saying that's a bad move. From a basketball standpoint, though, he probably, if he wanted to win, then he should have stayed in Toronto. But, again, it might not have been a basketball decision. Who knows? For the Clippers, though, again, it gives them time. It gives them time to assess their own team, too, because they traded away Patrick Beverley. They are currently in a state where I think they want to assess what Paul George can do. Because, really, Paul George is as good as he was at the latter part of that playoff series against the Mavericks. For a lot of times, he was inconsistent. Paul George played inconsistently. You saw playoff P rear his ugly head every few times. And that's not the kind of guy you want to be paired up with someone like Kawhi Leonard. You want someone else who can take over if need be. And I'm not saying Paul George can't do that, but he can't do it as consistently as you would like, and as this team needs him to. He needs to be able to, when Kawhi Leonard is load managing or Kawhi Leonard is not there, or Kawhi Leonard, is focusing strictly on defending, they need to have that extra offensive firepower, and they just don't have it consistently with Paul George. That has been the issue. That has been the problem the entire time these two have been together, the inconsistency of Paul George. Now, if Kawhi is willing to look past that, that is fine too. But if I'm the Clippers, I am looking at 2022, and I am looking at who might be available in 2022, because the Clippers have shown the past 2 years they can only get so far with this team. I will admit that Kawhi Leonard got injured, right? We don't know what they would have done in the conference finals, but that Suns team was a team that even looked like they were not going to be denied. That was a team that was going to give the Clippers problems because they were scoring at a very fast rate. You could see that DeAndre Ayton also was coming on in that series. So there's a lot of factors that go into that. You got to think about it. Who might the Clippers want to get? Like, there you got a few people that might be available. You might have someone like a John Wall, who I believe is going to be a free agent in 2022. He's going to be looking to go somewhere he can win. Do they take a chance on someone like a Russell Westbrook, who is going to be 35 by the time that rolls around? That might not be the most optimal free agent for that. But you also have someone like Kyrie Irving. Who knows? Bradley Beal by then will be an unrestricted free agent and be able to control his future. So there's multiple people they could go out and get. But if you ask me, can this core win even with a healthy Kawhi Leonard? I unfortunately have to say no, because they haven't shown that they can. They haven't shown me anything that proves that they have that extra gear. They need another superstar. They need a second. They need a two. They need someone who's going to be Robin to Kawhi's Batman. Because right now, I'm not gonna lie to you. What's his name? Paul George looks like Joker. He's not bad. He's not Robin. He's not the two. He's the three. He's the third option on that team. On a championship team, he's the third option. That's what he is. That's the reality of what he's shown, because he's not consistent. You need someone who is very consistent to be in that second spot. And unfortunately, I don't think that is Paul George at this point in his career. I don't think that's Paul George on this team. Can he prove me wrong? Damn right he can. I hope he does. That doesn't mean, though, that he will. Thanks for watching this video from Real Take Sports Talk. Remember to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. Also, remember to check out our live show every single Thursday at 8 p.m. right here on the YouTube channel. And remember, keep it real.